Welcome to The Breadwinners, the podcast about the never-ending hustle and its impact on all aspects of our lives. We're interested in what it takes to keep everything going.
This podcast is about working, family, research, and policy. We consider the research, talk to experts, and share our takes on what we're all learning about breadwinning. Each week, I'm joined by Jennifer Owens. She writes about working, wellness, and women, and founded the Working Mother Research Institute.
And I'm joined by Rachael Ellison. She's an executive coach and management consultant who works with companies big and small to design workplace policies that work for all employees. Well, when we're recording this, you are about to get vaccinated.
I am. I'm going to get vaxxed. Very exciting.
Have you been telling people that? Because are you preparing for it? Of all the things that could happen?
I actually was supposed to have mine on a Wednesday, and then I switched mine to a Friday. And so I just switched it last night because I saw, I was on the Twitter. The kids are on the Twitter. I don't know.
On the Twitters, on the ones and twos. Yeah.
And I saw that there was an appointment not far from me today, and I'm taking the day off anyway. So I was like, this way I will be able to seamlessly get back to work on Monday.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That is exact. So with mine, it was right when it opened. I grabbed the first one. It was like a Tuesday. They did a great job. They scheduled the second one while you were getting the first one, but it was whatever number of weeks it's supposed to be, but essentially at that same time. And then there are all this chatter, you might feel something the second time. And so I blocked off the whole next day on my calendar, told everybody. And I was so freaking relieved. I was looking forward, not to get, have an issue, but be able to clear off. I had a get out of jail free card for meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't meet on Wednesday. I'm getting my second vaccination, which of course also gave me, what do they say, virtue signaling? People telling me how excited they were for me and how great it was to get vaccinated, but also that I could have a free day to actually get work done.
Yeah.
So that's the topic, is that I was reading this essay, Culture Study, which is a wonderful newsletter by Anne Helen Petersen. And she has this essay called Against, Feel Free to Take Some Time If You Need It. And she's talking about herself doing the same thing, about getting the second vaccination and then, telling people, well, I'd love to, but I need to have a free day, and that it's so rare. And it just resonated with me because it's the same thing that you're just always available, especially as an entrepreneur or a freelancer. The price you pay for setting your own schedule is that your schedule is not your own.
Right. That is so true.
So, she said that when she would say, oh, I can't do it, she'd say to everybody, oh, I'm so happy with you. Let's figure out a time next week. Everyone was very amenable to scheduling around her need for that day.
Right.
And so then she says, and this is what got me, was I've tried to say no more in the last year, responding frankly that I don't have the bandwidth for this right now, or I want to do this, but can it happen in 4 months? But I still feel weird every time. No makes me feel like an asshole. Many overextended women have told me they find no particularly difficult to access. For women, there's a gendered expectation of even more availability, of receptiveness, of eagerness, which makes no read as a cold or standoffish or bitchy. And she says she dreams of coming up with a second email account where she is her own fake assistant. I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you hear people talk about boundaries and the like all the time, but I just can never say no. Not really.
Yeah.
Only if there's something I can't move, or I don't know. You can hear me struggling with it. I felt it immeasurably with that. Well, I can't. I'm going to be recovering. So,
Yeah. It's quite hard. And I think there's this, we all went through this moment of, I think freelancers in particular, but I think all of us went through a moment. I'll say this differently, but
how the work wouldn't be there. There's a scarcity,
right?
Yeah.
It was do we even
oh my God. Yeah.
This might be, the end of work. I don't know. I was I was spiraling a little, I'll be honest. And so now that we've got it and now that everything's picking back up, I think it's really hard for folks.
It's addictive, that feeling of scarcity, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. And then previous to that, there's also the sense of, she says, and I agree, that she also feels that every no is a lost opportunity. And that's a scarcity mindset too, right? There'll never be another opportunity, or this is the one opportunity that is really an opportunity. I'm making all these motions with my hands. You can't see me because it's audio, but it's like, I need to grab, I need to grab, I need to grab. Not even to stick at you or whatever, but it's more like, well, this could be it. This could be it. My family's security could be set because of this. My ambition could have gotten me here. I don't even know fully what it is that I think I'm going to get, but that opportunity, I'll never know if I say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's hard.
It's very hard.
I actually had a friend who said no.
Yeah.
She had to make a big presentation for work and she had weeks of chronic migraines. And she said to her boss, no.
Wow. Tell us. I feel like asking an explorer about, the lands they've uncovered. Tell me all about it. What happened?
Wait for it. She did it brilliantly. But in the end, her boss was like, yeah, no, you're doing it anyway.
I kind of like, it still has to get done. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, see, that's the Calvinist in us, is that the work still needs to get done, right?
Right. Right. She did it brilliantly, though. Well, but, at one point, we
don't achieve on, every time. It's small steps. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants. She's my new giant. She's my no giant.
Well,
I have been assigning out. I'm working on a large project and I've been reaching out to new freelancers and some old freelancers for writing. And I have come across a couple of them who have said, no, like not now, can't do it right now. I have a wonderfully talented person who said coming on full time isn't right for them right now.
Okay.
And I tell you, I'm very proud of them. Like, good for you guys. Good for you guys. And then my reptilian brain, I'm like, how can you say no? So good for them, man, though. I will unhook my heart and my head. My head is, I need to get these stories written. But my heart is like, yeah, because good for you. And what I say to them is, this project, hopefully, God willing, will continue and grow, and we'll talk later. I'm going to put a note on my calendar.
Yeah.
Because you can say no graciously, and they also don't know me. So the no, it's not like a huge presentation, like that. It's a new relationship, so it's okay. But I do get this moment of, really? You would say no to an opportunity?
Right.
But yeah, but good for them. It's seriously good for them, because know your own limitations. Because I don't. I mean, have you ever said no to something like this in this context?
I don't say no often enough.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm very yes and.
Oh my God, right? Not only will I say, sure, I can do that, but let me tell you what more we could do.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And then honestly, it's clear that there's an overextending going on. So yeah, it's something I'm learning to do, but it's, like I said, there was the beginning of the pandemic. It was a very different vibe around work. And now it's a deluge, and it feels like saying no is not a good option for me.
Right. Right.
But, it has.
Why is that? Like, why? Is it because the water rises to a certain level and then it never goes? If you let the work breach the barriers that you might have had pre-pandemic, now the barriers are gone and you can't ever, that kind of sense of like, just because you showed you could, doesn't mean you always have to. Is that what's happening here?
Say that again? Just because
you said yes to everything when the pandemic started, that now you're continuing to have to say yes to everything? Or like, it's like, once you prove that you can do something, do you have to keep like working around the clock because you did it a year ago when it looked like all work was drying up? And
yeah,
do you have to keep this same momentum pace going because you did it one time?
Yeah. I don't know if that's it. I think it's also, it's the demand is coming.
Yeah.
Everyone's feeling that pressure and it's trickling down. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's just about, particularly in an organizational structure, I don't think
Right.
it's just coming from you and it's completely up to you to make an
As an
autonomous
individual.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's systemic, right? From your
Right.
own organization. Oh, that's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Anne Helen Petersen makes this point, and this really, oy, this one struck it home, is that she says the backdrop against which we normalize the maintenance of productivity during a pandemic, a mass shooting, police brutality, racist violence, a mass week long power outage, or an insurrection. Productivity maintenance becomes a means to prove your fitness for the future, and as such, your value as an employee. You have the skills, the fortitude, and the control over your immediate environment to work through inevitable catastrophes and demands of the market. And I tell you, I mean, I don't, and it was kind of like, oh, I thought that was just like those of us who started out as reporters, because you are trained to compartmentalize when there is something horrific happening, because you need to walk into the situation and figure out what's going on, create a story, and come out, which sounds very kind of romantic in some ways, but it's true. It could be something as small as a fire or something as big as like a school shooting. You need to figure it out. And I've always wondered, because these things happen and I just keep producing, like I just compartmentalize as a matter of course. And I like, ooh, other people are doing this too. Ah, got it. We've talked about that of what managers can do in these times, but I don't know, the productivity, it's like a warm blanket, isn't it? Like, producing means that like at least I'm getting something done as the world collapses or something. I don't know
Oh,
what the
yeah.
feeling is supposed to be.
Yeah. No, I think it does provide some comfort, right? Because we know, there's so much uncertainty. You can get stuff done a certain, that
Yeah.
you can get stuff done and be recognized for it. It's very comfortable to keep doing that, right?
Yes. Well, so she says, which that's the headline is feel free to take some time. She's saying that's a bit of a sorting call. Like, do you need to take some time? Or can you push your way through it and can I depend on you? Or do you need to take some time? And,
Right.
which is awful. I mean, is that still the case? I guess it is. I don't know what's happening in the managerial way to or a better way to say that. I've always felt when you put it on the individual, it's too stressful for anything, like asking for flexibility, needing paid leave, all this sort of stuff. It's too much stress to stand up against an institution,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, if you feel that you need to take some time, it seems to me that it should be maybe a codified thing. Like we're all going to take some time. Is that true? I'm just making that up.
I think it should be, right? I think there needs to be more of a recognition of, this is something we collectively need. Because I think from a managerial perspective, again, I think there's a realization that people are overwhelmed, but those managers are also overwhelmed
Yeah.
and don't feel like they have a sense of control over the workload and the pace. So, I think they do need to set the tone, but also they need to kind of do some self reflection on where they are and where they can push back on behalf of the people who work for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That I've always felt comfortable doing. And I don't know if men feel this way. I always feel that it's a very good trick for women. If you feel like you're not advocating for yourself, imagine you are advocating for someone else who happens to be you. That I'm always better advocating for other people.
Yeah.
That's why moms show up at rallies. We're out there. We care about kids. We care about our community. We care.
Yeah.
That's why we make our voices heard. And I think as managers, I'm always willing to walk into a firefight to defend my team.
Right.
It's just my own self. It's like, no, I can get it done. I can do it. I can do it. And then I do feel like a human robot sometimes because like, yeah, but I made that deadline, like whatever there's an insurrection at the Capitol, but I'm still working,
Right.
that kind of stuff. And then I worry that I don't, I don't feel.
You worry that you don't feel?
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit. Sometimes I think I am a workist. That's my new word. Like
Oh.
the work, must get done. You know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'll support you. If you were on my team, I would totally support you. If you're traumatized, you do need to, I will tell you to take some time. I will say, we will meet back here. We'll figure it out.
Right.
Myself, though, I am terrible at doing that stuff for myself.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's where that, like, the empathetic side comes from, because I know about myself, but I ignore it and I put it onto other people to, like, support them.
Right. Right. I mean,
Are we getting any better as workplaces? There's been a lot in the news lately. I don't know if you're aware. It's been quite a traumatic time lately.
yeah, yeah, I've been paying attention. No, yes,
Really.
really. Yeah, I mean, I think workplaces are taking note of that. I think that I'm seeing a lot more like mental health training and, you know,
Mm,
so like resilience workshops and it's there's definitely a sense of people need support. I think it's going to need to take some different forms than just the workshops. I think employee assistance programs, EAPs, are going to be somewhat overloaded for a while.
yeah.
I think there's certainly the regular supports are going to need to be in place, but I think I'm hoping that companies, not only focus on remote and hybrid and what does it mean to have more flexibility, but
Right.
also take into account that folks are going to need, more personal time or more time to recuperate from some of what's been going on, emotionally than maybe they have needed to do in the past. So maybe it's important from a policy perspective that companies put in some time for more time for personal days, for example. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because certain things impact you more than others. Something that knocks you on your heels is something I'm ready to be on my toes and run into, and vice versa. So, as with all things, flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever these ways of thinking are, there's something about it that if you give the permission to take that time and to acknowledge it, that there's also over communicated sense of support for you using it.
Right.
In days of yore, where our only concern was paternity leave, they would have, all these companies would have it on the books, the best companies, and no matter how many weeks of paternity leave they gave out, the average across 100 best at Working Mother was 2 weeks. They could do the best and do parity amongst all genders of, like, whatever. Everybody gets 16 weeks. Men will take 2, because it's either internalized or it's externalized that I'm going to sort you through your use of paternity leave. Are you someone I can depend on, or are you needing extra time?
Right.
So whatever it is that we do, I don't know, it's going to end up being some brave individuals who will stand up and be essentially role models in your organizations that say, I need some time. I need
Yeah.
to say no.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know it'll be me, though. I just think I'm
Yeah.
too
It sounds
addicted.
like,
My workishness nature too ingrained.
yeah,
I don't know. Can we tell our kids that? Can we, yet another onus we put on the next generation?
exactly. Well, I think we have
Oh,
to model it for them a little bit.
yeah.
So we can't just tell them to do it, shockingly.
What? I tell them to do all kinds of stuff I don't want to do. Like, eat those dang peas. I don't really like peas, I've decided.
Yeah.
We have a lot of peas. But in any case, I think that's something that maybe we can all give ourselves permission to be unproductive at some points in the day,
Yeah.
in an afternoon. I mean, we can start small. We don't have to go cold turkey with our workist behaviors.
Yeah. No, I think we can start small. We can take it slow. Workist. It's our new
I mean, that's the
thing.
problem, is that these things are much like other addictions. And I think productivity may be one. It's really hard to maintain. Willpower will only get you so far. But, we keep falling off the wagon, getting back on. Hopefully we'll get a little farther down the road. Hashtag metaphor. Oh, my Lord. Yes. So will you say no today to something?
I'll say I just got my vaccine, so I'm saying no to everything.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's where this all starts. So enjoy your day of no. Shonda Rhimes had that year of yes.
Yeah.
I look forward to your day of no.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, I'm glad, though, that you said yes to joining us on The Breadwinners. You'll find links to Helen Petersen's essay in our episode description. You can read it. Let us know what you think at thebreadwinnerspod@gmail.com or visit us at thebreadwinnerspodcast.com.
Please remember to subscribe to The Breadwinners and to rate and review it. It really helps us grow. And until next week, keep hustling.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.